And welcome back to Chicago Bulls Insider. Today, we are talking about some more NBA draft buzz as the Chicago Bulls work out Egor Demin. Next, we're going to be talking about a wild ESPN mock trade that has the Chicago Bulls trading for RJ Barrett. And so, before we jump into it, I first want to remind you to slam dunk on that subscribe button, just like Modest Bozelis slam dunks in games. And so, in exchange for slamming on that subscribe button, I'm going to give you nothing but daily content around the Chicago Bulls. So make sure that you hit that like, you hit that subscribe, and you join the Chicago Bulls Insider family as we talk nothing but Chicago Bulls basketball. And so, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into it. And let's start with this NBA draft buzz, as it looks like the Chicago Bulls have worked out Egor Demin. And so this is huge because the Chicago Bulls really had not had any big time names on their workout list coming into just a couple days ago. We just talked about Carter Bryant and Danny Wolf to go along with Asa Nua and Drake Powell. Now we're talking about Egor Demin. And so if you want to go and take a look at this, you can go over to Hoops Hype. This is where you're going to be able to see what every team's activity level has been like as far as working out prospects. And if you go over there for the Chicago Bulls right now, they have Egor Demin added here. And so this is huge too, because Egor Demin is a player that has been linked to the Chicago Bulls. And this was a player that was out, or the reports were out there that the Chicago Bulls would be interested in going ahead and drafting him. And so we'll see what happens when it comes down to draft night. But if you are not familiar with Egor Demin here, this is a point guard that has some size, and he definitely has some elite playmaking ability. And so coming in at 6'9", he's got a 6'10" wingspan. He's got an 8.5 standing reach, coming in at 199 as far as his weight, and he's just 19 years old. And so his averages 10.6 points per game, 3.9 rebounds a game, 1.2 steals a game, 5.6 assists, 0.4 with the blocks, 27.3% from downtown. He shot 41.2 from the field, and he shot 69.5% from the free throw line there. And so, before we go ahead and really jump into just the fit for the Chicago Bulls, I wanted to take a look here briefly at the pros and the cons here. And so I think when you start with the pros, the first thing here with Egor Demin is he is an elite playmaker. In fact, he might be the best playmaker in the entire NBA draft. When you look at the highlight clips for him, there is not a pass that he cannot make. And I mean, if you are open, trust, he will find you. And I think that he's the type of player that he could actually pass you open, because he uses his basketball IQ to really anticipate what the defense is going to do, which is why the passes are on target. And so, I like that aspect with Egor Demin, is the ability to really move the basketball along. He's going to be unselfish. He is always looking for the play, for the teammate that is flashing or that could be possibly there. And so you do not have a problem with him being unselfish and being a playmaker, which could be huge as far as a fit for the Chicago Bulls in this offense. Now, the next thing, as far as the cons for him, I think it's really going to come down to just him as a scorer, because coming in at 27.3% from downtown, that is not a good percentage from three. And then with the free throw percentage, that is scary as well. So he's under 70%. So he's got to be much better there. Now, the plus or the positive here is that when you look at the shot mechanics for Egor Demin, he definitely doesn't have a broke shot mechanic. Like, it looks good. It's just a matter of getting it to convert, but he would have to knock that down. And keep in mind, playing point guard for BYU, this is where we're getting ready to go into a little bit of the fit here with the Chicago Bulls, is that being a point guard and coming into the Chicago Bulls, and I'm anticipating them bringing back Josh Giddey, he is going to have to play off the ball. And so that is going to be a big question for him because he was not very good as far as playing off the ball like that and knocking down shots. He's not a player that is looking to get to the mid-range necessarily. He needs to also become a better finisher at the rim. And so that kind of leads into maybe just he's not as quick, as athletic as you would like down there towards the rim. And so that could be a issue. And so him being off the ball as a scorer, it's something that I think is really going to be a project. Now, defensively, I think that I like him a lot better off the ball than I do on the ball. I think when it comes down to on the ball for him, because he's not necessarily the most athletic player, and I think when I'm saying athletic, I mean laterally quick and things like that, then that could be a challenge for him as far as individual defense. But he does use his basketball IQ to understand what's happening with the rotations. I think that I do see a player that will jump out there in the passing lanes and things like that. So I like that. And he will compete. I think that he certainly has a motor where he's going to compete hard. So, every player that's coming into the NBA is certainly going to be flawed, but you love the fact that he has the will and the motor and he wants to be good. And so I do like that. Now, as far as the fit with the Bulls, it's going to be interesting because if the Bulls do go with Egor Demin, then that means that you would have him, you would have Josh Giddey, and you would have Kobe White. Now, does it make more sense if they were to somehow reset the guards on the team? Sure, it is. But again, I think that now what's going to happen when you look at what Josh Giddey and Kobe White were able to do at the end of the year, one of the things that led to that hot streak that they had was the fact that they clearly had a defined role there. Their role shifted again once all the trades and things were made. And so I think that if you bring Egor Demin in, this could maybe blend into the role that Josh Giddey had last season. And so I'm curious to see what that fit is going to look like. And again, defensively, it could be a challenge. And so let's see what happens with the Chicago Bulls if they make this move. Again, he is, I'd say, the best playmaker in the draft, but obviously, there's some things that he would have to clean up. And so you guys let me know what you guys are thinking there. But next, I wanted to go ahead and jump into, I think, just this ridiculous wild trade from ESPN. And so if you want to go and read this, you can go over to ESPN.com. I believe this came out just about a day ago, but this was from their NBA Insiders, and these are 5 trades that teams would make prior to the NBA draft that would shake up the draft. And so the Chicago Bulls are listed into this. And so I'm going to bring up what is said, and I'm just paraphrasing this here. And so you see that the Chicago Bulls would get RJ Barrett. You see that the Toronto Raptors are going to get Patrick Williams. And then also, too, they would get Javon Carter along with our number 12 pick. Keyword, number 12 pick in this draft going into draft night. And so, look, I am thinking that this is absolutely wild because I just wouldn't do this trade. But let's start with, the potential in RJ Barrett. And so, with RJ Barrett, you're getting a player that is still young, at this point in time in his career. And you're getting a player that has definitely put up some numbers. I believe, in fact, this last season out for RJ Barrett, 21.1 points per game, 0.8 with the steals, 0.3 with the blocks, 5.4 with the assist, 6.3 with the rebounds, and he shot 63% from the free throw line and 35% from three and 46.8% from the field. And so you're seeing a player that struggled at the free throw line, and he's definitely a talented scorer. But I just think that, for me with RJ Barrett, one of the concerns, number one, is going to be the injuries because he's played in 58 games back-to-back seasons, which is not bad. But still, I think for, going ahead and punting in the first round for a player that has missed some time, I think that would be questionable. Point number one for me. Number two, he's coming into his third team, right? And so if he hasn't figured it out with those two, I don't know what would make the Chicago Bulls think that he would necessarily figure it out with them. And then next, And really, the main reason why I would not want to do this deal is because you would be punting on your draft picks, and you cannot afford to do that if you're trying to turn this franchise around. I absolutely think that that would be a really bad move for the Chicago Bulls to execute this trade. And again, this is a mock trade, and you can see from the money wise, it does add up. And I just don't like the fact that the Bulls would punt on this draft. I think that you need that draft capital. You either need to go ahead and just continue to take more bites out of the apple. So you want to get more, draft assets over. It's the only way that you're going to turn this thing around, because by going out and getting a player like RJ Barrett, it actually makes me think of AK skipping a timeline, and you do not want to do that. And so that's why I'm saying no there, even if it means moving off of Patrick Williams, because I think that Patrick Williams is a contract like right now. It's not that big of a deal. It is something that you do want to move on from, but I don't think that it's something that it gets in the way of what you want to do right now as you continue to build. And then also too, with Javon Carter, this is the last year. I mean, he's literally going to pick up his player option, get it. If you can't trade him, that's fine. But I think that there is no rush there too. You can let that contract just go ahead and lapse and move on. And so then with the first round pick, again, I just could not see the Bulls doing that. But you guys let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. Would you execute on this trade? Because one of the things that they're talking about, the reason why the Chicago Bulls would want to do this, bringing that back up, is the fact that they would get RJ Barrett, a young scorer. But they're saying too, for Toronto, the reason that they would possibly want to do that is they would want to maybe clear some way to maybe be in the Giannis sweepstakes here. And so I don't know. I don't know if I'm necessarily buying that as Toronto being a destination here for Giannis. Who knows? Because it sounds like that Giannis is still going to be with the Bucks, but don't know. Don't cover the Milwaukee Bucks here. This is the Chicago Bulls insider. But anyway, you guys let me know in the comments here what you guys are thinking about this wild mock trade. Would you do this deal, even if it's going to mean that you're giving up this 12th pick in the draft, this upcoming draft that's coming up here? And then also to let me know what you guys are thinking about Egor Demin and him working out with the Chicago Bulls. Are you excited for this? Do you think that he would be a good fit? Or do you feel like that the Bulls should go to the front court? Because that's where I'm at with this team. I think that you have your guards in Josh Giddey and Kobe White, and I get it with Kobe White in an expiring contract, but I think that you really let that kind of run its course at this point. Let's see what you do have with both of those players, because they excelled at the end of the year. And I think by adding Egor Demin over, I'm not saying that he couldn't play off the ball, but I think it is going to be a bit of a ride and an experiment to see what he would do, because he has not shown that he would be that great of a scorer off ball. And then you wonder, okay, from a creativity standpoint, as far as using his playmaking ability, will he still be able to be elite with that if he's not dominating the ball? And that's more so with Josh Giddey, Kobe White, and the other guards here. So you guys let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. And as we always say, go Bulls, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.